Hey guys, welcome to the Property Panel Podcast. You got myself, Jalen Hardcastle, here with co-host Josh Story, and we got special guest Tyler Carter on again. Would you give him a warm welcome? Warm welcome.
So glad to be back with you guys again. I'm Tyler Carter. I'm the property manager here at Cedar Hill Properties. Looking forward to get into this conversation with you boys today.
Yes, sir. Anything new since we've seen you on a couple weeks ago?
Well, as y'all know, you're here with me day in and day out in this office, so y'all see the crazy gravity that is property management and get to see the craziness that I go through every day. So it's always a different story every single day.
Yeah, it's definitely wild. And of course, we want to introduce today's topic, sustainability spotlight, and the technology takeover. And Josh, would you bring us into our title sponsors?
Yeah, before we get into it, I want to give a big shout out to our title sponsors. First one being Collier Title. If you need deed prep, title work, closings, and much more, they're located in Brandenburg, E-Town, and Louisville, and you can give them a call at 270-763-6589. And then another big shout out to Supreme Lending, Chad Gooden and Garrett Greenwell. Give them a call if you're looking for any lending advice, or if you're trying to get approved, whether it's FHA, VA, conventional, and more. And they're located off of North Mulberry Street in E-Town. And then a big shout out to our weekly sponsor, Brandenburg Mini Storage, and they're located at 49 Shannon Lane in Brandenburg, and you can call them at 270-422-5121.
And again, thank you for talking about our sponsors. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. And if you or anyone you know wants to be a weekly, monthly, or yearly sponsor, just send us a message on Facebook, give us a call on the phone numbers listed below, or send us an email. And it is 100 weekly, 300 monthly, and 3,000 yearly. And you'll be advertising our intros, outros, as well as intermissions, as well as our Facebook, YouTube, and all social media platforms. And I think we just recently hit Apple Podcast as well. Yep. So go give that a listen if you haven't yet.
To find us on Apple Podcasts, just search Property Panel Podcast, and we should pop up. But I guess before we dive in,
Spotify yet?
No, we're not on Spotify, so we're still working out the kinks here, but we did get approval by Apple Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So if that does well, then we will move forward with Spotify. Mm-hmm. But we're now on 3 platforms, and we're actually making a TikTok as well Monday. So
y'all better be watching on all the platforms.
Yeah, you'll be on 4 or 5 different ones, and Tyler actually has a pretty good presence on TikTok, so we're gonna have him posting a few videos for us as well. So be sure to tune in and reach out on those, and also tune in while you're tuned in. We're doing a $25 Visa gift card giveaway, so all you have to do is like, share, and comment on this live feed, and we'll be able to put you in the drawing, and we're actually going to be doing it live here on the show later today.
And I know y'all need the $25 too, because I need the $25, so I'm about to jump in these comments and get in there too, because I need the $25.
Yes, sir.
One more big announcement before we get into today's episode. It's my buddy Jalen's birthday today.
Woo! Thank y'all, guys. Big 26. I appreciate you guys for being here for my birthday. I know that we're working late, but that's what you got to do to get this information out there.
And that's what we do over here.
That's what we do. We provide for each other and our clients, and these are actually my best friends. I'm thankful that I get to work with these guys, but also to be able to hang out with them outside of work. They're good people to hang around, so I appreciate you guys.
You drive past our office. I think that you would see a big standing out difference in our office than a lot of the local offices here. You drive past our office, there's going to be someone here all day long.
Yeah,
if it's not one of you boys, it's me.
Multiple people, a lot of times.
You're covered here over here. So.
Yep, I agree. And a big thank you to Tyler, obviously, for being our property manager and office manager around here. And he plays a big part in this office. He might be behind the scenes a lot of times, but he's like he said, he puts on a big front, but he works his butt off.
Always busy.
So. That property management's fun.
And we were supposed to. Sorry, we were supposed to have him on last week, I know, so we're thankful to have him on this week. And maybe later we'll be able to talk about a little bit why you weren't on.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that, but last week, y'all, it was hell for Tyler. As a property manager, just day in and day out, you never really know what you're going to get. Some days it may be a murder investigation. That's what I'll say, just lightly, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, it can be serious. I know we joke a lot of times, but even that hits home. It
does.
Them are people we've worked with, and we hate to see it, but ultimately, we do what we can, and we still work through those circumstances.
For sure.
So I'm glad we have Tyler on our team to work through those for us, and he's a professional, and in any circumstance. That's for sure. He held his head up high and navigated through it the best he could.
That's
so
how you can.
we thank him, and then I guess you want to move on to today's topic.
Let's dive into our topic for today. Sustainability spotlight and how tech is shaping the future.
It's taken over.
It's taken over, and in multiple different ways. Especially in the real estate market, there's just so many different parts of technology that we use, day in and day out that really, speeds up a lot of processes or just makes our job easier, and also, makes it easier for you on the client end. Whether you're selling or buying, this technology is really starting to get involved in every part of real estate.
We use it every single day.
Right.
It's nothing new to us. It might be new to you guys, might be scary, but let's get ahead of the curve. Like I'd like to tell my clients, use me, get ahead of the market, but let's get ahead of the next curve and make you guys the most successful in your transactions.
Well, I think that's the added benefit of having guys like you, is having somebody that knows every aspect of that. You want a young, fresh guy that knows all the information you're going to need, especially with technology. You got to get with it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why we bring this podcast to you, on technology, is so we can provide information at your fingertips. A lot of you guys might be watching on your phones or the TVs at home, and we appreciate you guys for watching. Go ahead, hit the like, follow, subscribe button, whatever. But at the same time, we do appreciate it, and we're just here to give you knowledge. That's what we're trying to spread through technology.
Right, and I'm gonna go ahead and start into some of the pieces of technology that we use. To start off with, I guess, Tyler, can you hand me that? Drones is a big part of. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got it right there. Especially for real estate, using drones. More so when we're listing land, but we can also use it for homes as well.
And Josh, he's being very light on himself. Josh is the
drone master.
Josh
he is the drone master in this
of this
office.
Like, if anybody needs pictures for drones, like Josh is your go-to guy. Like,
and not only is that drone technology, you work it off your phone, so your phone fits right in there, and it couldn't be more convenient, And like I said, he's done showings, he's done listings, he's done it all.
And honestly, I really like doing it. I just basically pull up to the house, drop my drone right outside my truck, sit back in my truck, and then just plug my phone up.
From your truck.
That was sort of, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I am not the type of person that goes out and flies the drone. Yesterday, I submitted myself to it. I ain't gonna lie, Jalen did train me up in like 5 minutes, and maybe Jalen's the drone expert.
I know a little bit. I don't like to let people know because then they'll be calling.
Right. So Jalen's also trained me how to fly that drone in like 5 minutes. So definitely.
But it's got self-awareness. Like the technology in that drone, I don't know really what I'm doing. I even have to call Josh sometimes to go take some pictures for me because he just does an immaculate job on the photographs side of things especially. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy what technology we have for you.
Yeah,
guys.
that drone's really handy. It has like sensors on it, so if you get close to anything, it lets you know, and it actually stops the drone, so you can't run into it.
Did you experience any of that? Did you get close to anything?
So it did, which I kind of expected the cops to like follow me back to the office yesterday for some reason. So while I was out there, it did say something like, "You're flying too high" or something like that. Like you could be flying out of the restricted air zone.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, "Oh crap, I gotta get out of here."
Yeah, you have to stay below 120.
I was trying to get the full scope of the land.
Right.
So.
No, especially around here because especially our office, it is located about 5 miles from Fort Knox, and you can't be far of a certain altitude because you're in a restricted airspace because they have aerial rights. And if you don't know, we're going to actually go over the different types of property later in the show. And whenever you purchase a piece of property, you're looking at the house and the land, but you might not know that the mineral rights and the aerial rights are something you might need to negotiate whenever you're writing up those contracts.
Right. And along with drones, in general, so that's good for taking photos of the land, of houses, getting angles that we normally can't get. But, cameras are obviously important. But, nowadays, the iPhone camera is, just as good as the camera that's, pointing towards us right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, put into just a small device that everybody has. And, that's kind of why phones and our laptops are really the most important tools that we have as realtors. Because we can get everything done, from sending out documents and emails and finding, some resources we might need, like inspectors, and doing the photos and listings. Everything kind of goes through those two devices. So it's pretty awesome that, we have those now. And I'm glad we do.
Me and Tyler, actually, when we started, we was at Stonegate, and Mickey Chisholm was our broker back in the day. And we learned a lot of valuable lessons from him. And actually, he was a paper mentality kind of guy. So that's how we started. We'd handwrite every contract. And I still do to this day. I don't know if it's because I want to stay close to my roots or what. But
for sure.
I'm still going to scan them for those signatures just to get it done a little quicker. But I prefer to handwrite them to know I'm not missing any points. On the computer, I feel like I might miss some things. But that's why this technology has taken over. But it's still good to have us humans in field, so we're making sure everything's still taken care of.
It's kind of like a learning curve. Like with anything, I mean, like you said, we started out learning on paper. That's how we learned how to write our contracts. Imagine 20 years ago what people were doing. I mean, I know we have like your other sponsor, Marty Clicko. I mean, imagine what Marty was doing when he first started.
So I love hearing his stories.
There was no like e-sign option. I can assure
I'm
you,
meeting every day.
E-sign, there was So I know and Marty has gotten with the curve. Like Marty knows if you're going to be in today's real estate market, you're going to have to. Get with it.
And he hates technology too.
Marty's with it,
But he does. He'll sit in for an hour or two and get on his computer and still get shit done.
That's part of it. I mean, if you're going to be in today's market in whatever facet, you got to be with technology. It's just part of it.
And that makes me think of like another thing that Marty probably had to deal with back then is just GPS. As simple as that sounds, but finding these different listings and like the directions.
I struggle now with my GPS sometimes, especially if you're like out in the boonies showing land. If you're showing something like no service, like you're screwed. So I think maybe sometimes it's good to have those like
it is
roots.
Go back to your roots.
And I mean, like you will literally see Marty at his desk with an atlas map.
He does have that. He has the whole atlas under his desk.
And that's just get with it.
Yeah.
He knows he ain't gonna get lost.
Yeah, and you can tell him, hey, what is this road? Oh, this road name is right over here in this county.
Exactly.
And it could be 2-3 hours away, but Marty knows where it's at. And he'll point it to you on the map. It's impressive.
When you got Marty.
Marty, I'm glad to have him in our office, have him in our corner. He's a stand-up guy. And just a special shout-out for him. If you're looking to buy or sell any real estate, he will give you a cash offer. Any situation, any condition, it doesn't matter. Give him a call. But we appreciate having him in our corner as well. He's a great person to have.
I guess we move on to these MLS systems. Jalen, can you explain, some of these MLS systems or the syndicated MLS systems?
Which in episode 1, we kind of briefly talked about our MLS system and how we can help run CMAs. But basically the MLS is where we're going to post our listings, and that's where other realtors can go and search for properties for their buyers as well. And they're also syndicated to websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia. So it's basically blasted everywhere, and then we do a little extra, post it on social media because we want the most outreach. But yeah, our MLS, it's an integrated system. So not only can you post your listings on there and create CMAs, but you can also set up email notifications to your buyers. So if, as soon as something's listed, you can put in their criteria per name, and it will send them directly homes as they're posted.
That's one of my favorite tools because, especially in today's market,
for sure,
you got to be on top of the ball. So, and you're not always going to be hovering over the MLS system. When it, but if you set certain parameters, say your budget's under 150,000 or whatever, and you're looking for a certain amount of land, you can put all that in, and it'll automatically send it out to you or your buyers. That way, it's instant because some of these listings, they might only last 2 days or 3 days on the market. So
yeah,
it's good to be on top of it.
Yeah,
and that helps.
And especially in today's market, like we talked about earlier, if the home's listed for more than 3 days right now, you're like, what's wrong with it? Because that market's been picking up rather than in the last 6 months. It's kind of a little slower because of interest rates, but now that they're starting to come down, the market's starting to heat up. So.
Which I heard, which this could just be a folklore or whatever, but I heard we should hopefully be falling like another point or close to it.
I heard that as well.
And that makes me so excited. And it also makes me want to tell people, like, if you were thinking about buying in the past month, if you're thinking about buying now, jump on it. Like, it is now is the time, like, because these interest rates are about to come down. And I shit you not, y'all. the minute these interest rates fall below 6%, it's going to be just like it was a year or
bidding
two
war.
ago.
Yep.
Bidding war. On
I'm actually
houses.
already starting to see it. So I've showed a lot of properties this last week, but to a certain couple, I've showed probably 5 or 6 different houses, and we wrote offers on 3 of them, and we've been getting beat out by 20, 30,000 over ask price, waiving appraisals again. We haven't seen this. It's back to that. We haven't seen
That's
this
like
since
2021.
2021, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't, and it's getting back to that market, and they're like, oh, we'll never see that again. Well, it's back and it's
back
here,
to that again.
and
Well,
it's
I
going to
know
get
why-
worse.
Y'all know I don't really show houses as much anymore now that I just do the property management. I was in a multiple offer situation. The first offer that I put in, and that just shows me it is
Right.
getting back to that
Yeah,
point again.
it is.
You know, so get
Like
ready,
you said,
y'all.
yeah, get ready and get ahead of the market,
Get ready,
like we
start
like
buying
to
with
say.
these boys now while you can.
Yep.
You know, get in while you fit in.
Right, and same on the selling side. You know, I feel like now is also maybe a good time to sell because you know prices
Yeah.
are good.
Prices are good. Buyers are looking, you
Yep.
know, and the perfect time, in my opinion, to sell a property, as far as statistically, I'd say from like March to about June, and then at about August till about October. You know, them are your hot months. I feel like, you know, throughout the year. So it's about to get to that time of year. So if you're looking to sell, give us a call, and we'll definitely give you a good free CMA and show you what your property value is worth.
Right.
Hell yeah! And these boys work their asses off, so
We try.
I'll tell you that.
Try.
Yeah, we
and
try.
we'll if you can't choose because we're so great, we'll do it together.
Right,
We don't mind a listing.
we will
They'll give
together.
you a
partner up.
2 for deal.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You pay for
Hey,
one, and
one.
you
double,
get 2.
yeah, double the work for the same price. That's pretty good.
We
These
should
boys
stop
work their asses
advertising
off.
that.
I mean, they've already they've given me my props in this podcast, but these boys really do. I mean, day in, day out, they're in this office hustling for their clients, and I see that firsthand every
We
single
appreciate
day.
that.
So.
And
Appreciate
that's, you know, like I said, Tyler sees it firsthand because he's in here. He's working just as much as we are.
Oh,
So, and then after we get those we're looking for these houses, we got to obviously get an approval. So talk about those applications, which are the same as loan applications,
Yeah.
but you have to deal with that in the
Yeah,
rental
you know,
process.
I mean, paper applications no longer exist. So this whole like technology talk of like, why do I have to do the application online? Nobody does paper applications. You're not going to walk into here and get an application. So that's the great thing about what we do is I use a third-party software that does all my applications. They run all my credit reports, all my background checks, literally everything whatsoever. So it takes my hand out of it. So you're going to tell me if I have a good tenant in front of me before I would even know.
Right,
in a lot of
yeah,
these
and a lot of
cases.
people
So
blame you for not accepting them, but it's all in what you've.
it's your
you know,
fault.
yeah.
You know, and it just is what it is. People get pissed, and it is what it is.
No, yeah,
Well,
you
you know-
screen them tenants, and that's why you don't have a bad turnover rate.
Exactly.
You know,
Right.
because you put good tenants in those
For
properties.
sure.
You know,
I mean,
and
yeah.
and doing it online keeps it all in one place. So
Exactly.
you don't have a imagine if we had to file all of that away. We would need this whole room just for files.
You've seen my mom's files just from the last
Yeah.
couple of years that
Yeah.
filled up a whole entire room, just one person, you know. And imagine having every single property. I mean, what do we manage? Almost 200 properties now
Yeah,
here.
we have like 120, 130 rentals. we
Yeah.
manage,
Shoo!
so-
Right.
And 4 years ago, I think we brought over 10 with
I think
us
we had about
originally.
15 when we started a few years ago, and so now we have about 120. It's,
Heck yeah, we've really grown
it's
this
crazy.
company. That's awesome, and it's because of everyone we have here. You know, Josh, Kurt,
we have a.
Cassie, Ashley, Ethan, all of them, Tyler, all of us. We
that's-
work well together.
I think that's what makes us stand out is that we have such a team of people that is willing to chip in,
And that's the
wherever
key
it's
word,
needed.
the team. You know, we have a
Yes.
team. It's not, you know, yes, we're competing against each other. It's like friendly banter, but at the end of the day, we're all a team. And like Ethan, he's out showing some properties for me now because we're, you know, trying to bring you some more information. But we work together. I've showed properties for him. I've showed properties for both of you guys.
Lord,
you know,
yes.
we all like to work together.
Vice versa.
And if even if we're on vacation, that's how we get deals done. You know, so it's
Right.
good to have a team surrounding. you.
Yeah, I think we have a great team here. I think everybody brings something different to the table, and I think we kind of
Yeah.
make a
We jive
really
very well.
really cohesive group.
Mhm.
But back into that, I don't know if we've gone over scheduling showings.
Oh no, that's a good one. More
so-
technology.
more technology. So, when we need to schedule showings, it's all done through most of the times through an app, or I mean, if
Showing
not, it's through the phone. But
Even
yeah,
if you text them, they're like scheduled through showing.
right.
Showing time. I'm
And that
like,
puts all the info for the showing times into
but it's
one
so they don't
in
overlap.
one spot, so they don't overlap. So with that too, they'll put the code sometimes to the lock boxes, which we do have newer lock boxes with, you know, it depends on the MLS that you're working with, but there's Supra and then Century Lock, and, you know, both those lock boxes are Bluetooth. And, you know, in my opinion, they're more secure than a traditional lockbox because, you know, you have to have a very specific code to get in. And then on top of that, you could switch the code at any time because it's online.
Yeah,
I am kind of stuck in my ways in this way, though. I do like the old combination.
I do when I'm trying to unlock.
Yeah, you don't have to worry
about
your phone, you know, dying.
There's really no fault with it.
Right.
Like, Ed, call me whatever. I'm old fashioned.
I mean, you're definitely never going to have to question if someone can get in the house. There has been, you know, I've been showing houses for about 8 years now, and there's been maybe a handful of times I haven't been able to get in the house because the lockbox died or because my phone died, you know, which is on me a couple times. But now actually these softwares have where if you just log into them within the last 24 hours, no matter if you have service or not, you can connect to those lockboxes still, and it'll actually have you put your password, or mine actually scans my face to make sure it's me. So it knows who's going in that house at all times.
I think that just adds a extra level of security for your sellers, especially in this market.
And I think that's beneficial. And with the way the world's going today, you know, you don't don't want just no one in your house. So to know who's in there and how long they're in there, because it shows when you open the lockbox, when you put the key back in there. So with those other lock boxes, which, you know, we still use today, especially on our investment properties, they can cost you too, because they're, you know, they do have a lock on there, but anyone can get that code. They can give it to anyone. You know, it doesn't change. Those Bluetooth lock boxes have a serial number that if it's not a licensed realtor, you can't get access into that box. So
Yeah, I think that's one of the benefits of technology today, especially in real estate.
For sure.
But with the showings too, you know, if we have an out-of-town client, an out-of-town buyer, let's say they're coming from a different state or country, you know, for me, you know, in my experience, it's been military. They're moving from base to base, and you know, they won't be moving for the next few weeks, but they need a home ready kind of when they get there. And that's where, you know, like FaceTime type applications come into play, because, you know, we can do showings through FaceTime and, you know, really show them the property even though they're not there.
Which is kind of tricky for us. Like, I know me and you have sold properties together that way. I'm sure you've sold some properties FaceTime showings too, as you was talking about. But I mean, as an agent, you kind of feel, you know, a little like I don't know. I feel like I'm doing it injustice.
Talking about fiduciary duties, but like just whenever you're showing, I mean, over FaceTime, like the client we're talking about specifically, we showed this person, they were in a completely different country. They never saw this house ever whatsoever. The only time they ever saw it was over FaceTime with us. So
and we
the
never even
level
met
of
them.
care that you have to be willing to give to your realtor for that, you know, to never see a house. You're moving straight here from, I think they were from Korea actually.
Yeah.
Like,
so you're putting a lot of trust in.
Exactly. And that's
It feels good getting that much trust, but at the same time, you're like, man, like you said, you may not be fulfilling those fiduciary duties because you can only show so much of yours, you know, which we did have a home inspection and stuff like that as needed per VA, but you know, and the house passed, and they were thrilled with the house when they got back. We try to do our best.
Double price a couple years later, actually.
And, you know,
yeah. So.
You know, that's why, like, if I see, let's say, you know, watermark on the ceiling, you know, that might not pop up on that FaceTime call, but I'll, you know, make sure that I point it out, or, you know, take a picture later on. That way they know that that's there. If they're coming out of town and aren't going to see the property before they put an offer in. So
I agree. And obviously, after those FaceTime showings, you start to get to the closing table. So technology doesn't stop there. You know, a lot of people will request a cashier's check because they like to see that dollar amount in front of them whenever they close. But now they're actually doing money wire transfers. So you don't even have to write a check. You don't have to bring cash to the table, which they don't even allow anymore. But wire transfer is what they do. So basically, it'll take it directly from your account and put it in another, which I'm sure all of you've heard, but you know, they're talking about $200,000-300,000 grand at a time. You know, that's.
I think that I want $200,000 or $300,000 cash.
Oh,
instead of the wire transfer.
Yeah.
I want $200,000 or $300,000.
We can do this
cash
closing outside. I know an attorney to write up this.
Right, I'm good on all that. I want the cash. And you know, it's just preference there. Like, do you want it wired?
Yeah.
Do you want cash? Do you want a check? You know, that's the greatness of technology. It adds that benefit of. What do you want? You have the option now that we didn't necessarily have before.
Yep.
Right, and if the sellers aren't there or the buyers aren't there to collect you know, they
like
can,
those closings
for sure,
right?
Yep.
You know, some of those remote closings.
Good thing to bring up.
Yeah, that helps. But also, one thing technology is useful for is marketing, listings and for obviously looking for houses, but
And this
which
podcast.
kind of branches into social media and this podcast. But, social media is really good for us as a tool to, list your house, market it, because we can have it hit, 10, 20 different groups
So many
like
platforms.
that. And that opens it up to an audience of several 100,000 across Kentucky, for the groups that I'm in total.
Mhm.
So immediately you're on all those feeds, and so you're able to get that property out real quick.
And just on social media, you probably, I know that you personally, personally, I've seen you get a lot of outreach on your post whenever you're talking about those listings. So you'll get actually buyer clients just from that.
Yeah,
Won't you?
yeah. A lot of my clients do come from social media, and that's one of the benefits, because a lot of people are on Facebook, shopping for homes or just looking for realtors or
Which we talk a lot about your sphere of influence, but I'm not too proud to admit that a lot of my business comes from social media as well. That's why I keep a heavy presence on here, and that's why I wanted to bring this podcast, not only to get my name out there and Josh's name out there, but to bring you guys more information and also learn up from my clients as we're
Right.
showing
For
these
sure.
houses and negotiating these contracts.
See, y'all are sitting here talking about the great things. Y'all have all this great positive things on Facebook. Y'all have all these great comments. I'm getting clients
Give
from
us some
Facebook.
of yours, Ty, as a
My
property
Facebook
manager.
is swamped with people that hate me. Like,
Yeah.
I post a rental on Facebook, and I'm read for filth in the comments every single time. Like, there is not a moment that I can post a rental and not have my whole family basically threatened at the same time. Like, this
I
last time I
witnessed that
posted a
firsthand with
rental, and somebody was like, I bet you he put the crack pipe down right after he posted this one. And I'm just like, yeah, with comments like yours, I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to resort to that because y'all are nuts.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they're something else. I see some of the stuff you get posted on here.
Facebook warrior. Yeah, they're
And it's
nuts.
because they're sitting behind their screens. They
Yeah,
ain't got
for
no
sure.
It's
repercussion.
something usually it's something they wouldn't say
Catch
face
me
to
outside.
face.
Oh, they would never. Right, catch me outside.
Catch
Yeah,
me on a
y'all would
country
never say
back
it to my
road.
face. Yeah, because they show up here and they're nice.
Right.
But
Oh yeah,
it is what
right.
it is.
Snakes in the
know.
grass.
Yeah, it's one of the
Snakes in the grass.
one of the negatives of it is people feel like they have that cushion so that they can just post it out there, and
Yeah.
it's something that they wouldn't say to you if it was in person. But
No.
Follow the
and,
golden rule, people.
and especially with property management, that's something that Tyler has to deal with. But
I mean,
It's a
y'all
lot-
get it
lot
too,
worse
because I
for
mean,
you.
these boys have to answer the calls a lot of times that are coming into the office for me, so y'all hear.
Mhm.
Yep.
I've had to take the phone out of Jalen's hand multiple times while
Getting my ass ripped.
someone is ripping Jalen's ass up and down, and I'll have to run up and snatch the phone out of his hand and be like, "You're not going to talk to him like
So they're
that."
like puppy dog eyes. I'm like,
I don't know what to do.
help, Tyler, help.
oh, but yeah, we see some things, and it is funny. But social media, I mean, everyone's got opinions. They're like assholes, everyone's got one, but
For sure.
no
You
one
got that
really
right.
cares to see them.
At all. So keep it off of Facebook. If you don't have nothing nice to say
Put
on
it down.
Facebook,
Scroll
Right.
past.
and honestly, in a lot of these cases, the people that are commenting on my stuff, you'll look at their profile, and I'm sorry,
That's what they do.
a lot of these people, I'm not taking no advice from you.
No,
Not on
no.
real estate, not even on basic how to live and breathe.
Right.
So why am I taking real estate advice? All of a sudden, I'm taking real estate advice from you.
Mhm.
It also seems like it's the same people every time.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
It is.
like,
yeah.
that's what-
Sure. Oh
The
god.
same
yes.
5 to 10
That's-
people.
that's
that
what
still
they
can't
spend
their
afford
time
the
doing.
house.
They loved causing
Gun
a
bumping.
ruckus.
But no, yeah, and then obviously, as we talk about technology, we've talked about drones, phones, tablets, anything. We haven't even talked about AI, so AI is
Oh,
becoming
yeah.
a thing, and it's amazing what AI can do. Listing descriptions, it can actually produce a business photo. I look, in my just lounge clothes, it could put a photo of me right here, put me in a suit, make me look all pretty with a nice hairdo.
Sure, I wish it would.
Well, just do it. I mean,
Right.
AI does it.
I wish
It's
it
free.
would.
Josh knows a lot about AI, though. Could you tell us a little bit more about the AI?
For me, which I don't copy and paste, but I will ask it for suggestions
Yeah,
on
fine-tune.
how on a listing description or certain emails, because it really is like an expert writer.
What does that stand for? AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, like ChatGPT, there's
Duh.
several
I'm an
others.
idiot, y'all, so just get over it.
But I think, you know, right now it's kind of in its basic, you know, portion of its life. I think, you know, it's useful now in different ways. So like he said, it can, you know, do image stuff, you know, video stuff, and then writing stuff. So like things like my listing descriptions, it does help, you know, come up with some extra ideas when I'm trying to, you know, explain a property. But
It's even came up with a few of these podcast episode
Yep.
ideas as well. So.
podcast episode ideas, and
We ain't
Yeah,
too
it's a
proud to
great
admit
tool.
that as well.
I think that just all speaks to the more reason to have a realtor like you boys, like just somebody that's on your side that knows the ins and outs of this. Because, you know,
Right.
I'm not active as much as you boys selling real estate as I used to be. I don't know shit about what you're talking about, really.
Oh,
So, I
you're,
mean, it's
you're,
'cause-
you're busier in other
It's because
aspects
you
of real
all
estate.
are in and out of this every single day. You know this trade, like the technology aspect
miss
of
it?
in and out. Y'all are scaring me. Y'all are scaring me. AI, the drone was enough for me last week
No,
when
and
I had to fly the drone.
that's why we're kind of bringing this episode to you, is because we want to show you that this technology is not a scary thing. It's, you know, to help all of us progress. And, you know, as we talked about, there's more buyers coming into the market. So as we have 5 to 10 buyers rather than 2 to 3, you know, we got to be able to, you know, satisfy their needs and help them the best we can. So this AI is also helping us, you know, satisfy our clients as well, as far as, you know, the e-signs, the descriptions, you know, they can even set up showings for us and stuff like that. AI can do anything you need. Not
Right.
saying that they're doing it all for us,
you know,
but
and
it's
really,
crazy.
You know, the main thing with it is it provides, you know, it saves us a lot of time
Mhm.
in different places, so we can really focus on you as a client, you know, rather than, you know, let's say the listing description. Not That's a small example, but you know, it does take some time to really think out a well thought out
It's tough
listing
sometimes
description.
too, you know, because we write so
Right.
many descriptions on so many houses.
They kind of
and
blend together,
do,
and
yeah.
it helps. It really helps, and I think we're going to see more of it. So you know, just keep an eye out. Use it if you can, because I feel like, you know, if you're not using it, the people who are might be a step ahead of you.
Yeah, I agree.
So you know, as it continues to grow, you know, it's definitely beneficial to join on with it, rather than shut it out, because it does offer a lot of benefits.
As we say, get ahead of the market, and let's go ahead and help you get ahead of the market by letting us get ahead of the future. And I think we're going to take a short intermission. So
Do you want to give a quick shout out to our title sponsors before we
let's
go to
ahead.
intermission?
We'll go ahead and do that as well. So
All right. So our few title sponsors, we got Collier Title. And again, if you need deed prep, title work, closings, and much more, they're located in Brandenburg, E-Town, and Louisville. And you can call them at 270-763-6589. And then I want to give a big shout out to Supreme Lending, Chad Gooden and Garrett Greenwell. Call them if you need any help with lending, FHA, VA, conventional, and much more. And then a big shout out to this week's sponsor, Brandenburg Mini Storage, and they're located at 49 Shannon Lane, and you can call them at 270-422-5121.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Property Panel Podcast. You got myself, Jalen Hardcastle, here with co-host Josh Story, and we got special guest Tyler Carter on the show today. And we're coming back at you after that brief intermission, and we're going to continue into the sustainability spotlight. But instead of the technology takeover, we're going to go over how to keep a sustainable business and go over kind of the code of ethics that we as realtors have to abide by, which go over loyalty, obedience, disclosure, reasonable care and diligence, as well as accounting. Would one of you guys want to kind of brief over the loyalty process of our fiduciary duties?
Yeah, so one example I could give is, let's say you're the listing agent. You're obviously going to want to try to get the highest price for your seller. You're going to want to haggle and advise them on how to haggle when there's offers that are presented. And along with doing the proper work beforehand and getting the CMA done, making sure they're at market value at a good price. And then on the buyer side, the same way, you want to try to, drive that price down for them so it's more affordable. You do that, through, which another topic is due diligence, but do that through your due diligence. So you make sure that they're getting the right home for the right price and they're not overpaying. Run your comps for your buyer just as you would for your seller.
I think that a big part of that as a realtor is just making sure that you're staying loyal to your client and not to, even in cases not to yourself. Like,
right.
In a lot of cases, a realtor, you're working for a commission, but at the root of all that, I'm trying to make you as my buyer happy.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of realtors can lose sight of that. And that ties right into that loyalty. Like, you are working for that client, not for your money. You're working for that client.
Right. And if your client's happy, then, you should be happy as a realtor.
For sure.
Provide those needs for your, buyer or seller.
And like you said, the due diligence, another way to be due diligent to them is by obeying the laws. We have Kentucky real estate laws that we have to abide by, as well as, national laws. And we're a part of the NAR Realtor Association program as well. So we have to abide by the code of ethics, obviously, as we're discussing here. But obviously, before we even, go into the next subject, let's kind of break down a little bit what it takes to become a realtor. A lot of people are like, back in the day, I think it was before 78 or 75, you used to just be able to go to the courthouse.
Yeah, a lot of times you can just go right up there. You got 50 cents in your back pocket.
My papa used to have a real estate license. He's like, come on, papa, you ain't sold no houses.
You're lying. Yeah, so, I know it's a struggle to become a realtor. It's no easy task. Like, the class is not easy. The knowledge is not easy. It is intense material that you have to learn. Really in real estate, this is what I tell real estate school. When I tell people whenever they ask me, like, what was real estate school like? You're literally learning how to, make sure you don't get in trouble in real estate.
That's all they teach you, yeah.
So what they're teaching you is the law. That's what you learn in real estate. That's what's instilled into your brain is just like, I ain't trying to get in trouble right now.
Yeah, literally.
And so that's what it is. That's what you learn. You're learning the law. And so that's the added benefit of having a realtor, because we know the law.
Right. And, that's like the baseline. You get through the test and the course, you're learning what not to do. And then once you get into the actual position, you learn a lot from just seeing it,
experience is key.
How to negotiate, how to, list at the proper price, people skills. Field experience is very important along with, the education. Like he said, it's just, a lot of laws, a lot of terms. So you understand the whole of it, but you might not understand the actual work of it.
And if it goes to show anything, I like to say I'm a good agent. I feel like I'm pretty damn good.
Are.
But I'm not gonna lie, it took me about 7 tries to pass my damn test. I can't test to save my life. And I remember I passed my school test, which given I did take about 6 months before I took my national test, but oh my goodness, I passed my school test by 1%. After 96 hours of school, you'd think I'd pass it by more than one question, but no, I passed it by one question.
It all goes to show, though, truly, especially with even that, that stuff does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does not matter. Like, if you accept, Jalen is, props to Jalen. Jalen is truly one of the top agents.
Thank you.
In this area, truly. That test don't matter at all.
No, it doesn't. It goes to show.
You don't learn
Field
real
experience.
estate until you're in it.
Right.
Until you're in it every day, like these boys are now. day in, day out, you don't learn shit about real estate.
No, you got to hustle to figure it out, and then you learn deal by deal. I mean, like we talked about earlier, I'm 8 years in, and I learned something new almost every deal, every day.
Yes.
Something new's popping up.
I mean, just about every day or
shit changes anyways, but I mean, like...
About, every day or every other day, I'm texting Jennifer.
Oh,
like, hey,
we're definitely texting her. She's going to put us on mute. She's like,
she
I don't want to hear.
does.
Well, she's going to Mexico now, so she's like, hey, you call Tyler.
Call
Tyler. You're going to be real busy.
Oh, yeah.
next week.
It's either
I think
Tyler.
I'm going to Mexico
It's either
too now.
Jennifer or Tyler.
You're
I'm
gonna be
like,
real
hey,
busy next
I
week.
need help on this.
I got y'all. Y'all know I got you. I got my
You
babies.
do. Any question, if my mom ain't answering, I'm texting Tyler immediately. And I'm
And
sure
he might
same
know,
for you and
he
everyone
might know a
else.
thing or two.
He might know a little bit.
Every now and then.
We'll see. But after the obedience, obviously, what else are we going to talk about, Josh?
Disclosure, and that comes down to the actual property itself most times. So, the condition it's in, material defects, just like we were talking about.
The seller's disclosure.
The seller's disclosure is a big thing, but even when you're showing a house as a buyer's agent, if you see something, I feel like that's a red flag. That's something you should bring up to your buyer during that showing, in case they miss it.
Right.
That's part of disclosure. A material defect, something that's kind of stands out. If you do see it, then
And that's why you always
should relay
recommend a
it.
home inspection, even if your
Right.
buyers don't want to. Which I've had a deal recently that I had that, and they're good family friends, and I love them. But we had something come up as far as the foundation, which we had a foundation inspection, which we talked about a couple episodes ago on the mobile home breakdown. It was on a mobile modular home, and ended up they having some issues. Which they kind of noticed on the final walkthrough, but they chalked it up as something else. And then a couple days later, they was like, "Hey, could you get a foundation inspector over here again?" So I called my two best, and they got over there and was like, "Hey, this is kind of fucked. We need to figure this out." And I was like, "Well, so I talked to them, and they ended up getting their own people over there, and it was pretty messed up. But they didn't have a home inspection, so we always want to recommend those. And I didn't to that specific client, and I do feel bad just because they were family friends. I figured, they knew a lot about homes. We had been looking at homes for about 6 months to a year now, so we've seen pretty much everything you need to see go wrong in a house. And so even though I assumed that they took those those defects into mind, I should have disclosed them myself, if I had noticed those as well.
Right.
So,
And even with
person
home
can make
inspections, even with home inspections, the home inspector might miss something.
Mm-hmm.
That is possible. So, but obviously we do recommend you get a home inspection because there's so much to a home that could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can only do one thing. I can't be doing all this. I'm not a home inspector.
Right.
So I'm going to tell my client every time, go ahead and go get your
Right.
home inspector because I don't know this house like that.
Right.
And you don't know that house like that. Let's get a home inspector. They'll tell us.
Which they cost about $400 to $600, roundabout, depending on the size of the home.
And so what we're going to go over now is like you talked about, your due diligence, the reasonable care and due diligence. So presenting offers, like you said, ordering home inspections and stuff like that. It all falls under your due diligence and your fiduciary duties, which obviously that's what we're talking about. But the code of ethics, I think, really outlines those because it literally breaks down what you need to do as an agent to protect yourself and your buyer's investment. So, could you kind of brief us over that a little bit?
Yeah, one of the biggest things I can think about on due diligence is, if you get asked a question or if you're on a timeline, you got to be quick, concise, communicative, which is a big part of it. But yeah, that's part of due diligence is really just, answering questions when there's questions, making sure that you got your buyer or seller's best interest in mind, and not, hesitating on them, which might extend out the closing, might make the deal go bad if you're not paying attention and communicating to all parts.
And I agree with that. And I think that kind of goes into the accounting side, Tyler. If you don't mind kind of briefing us over that, it's not as far as just the offer. It goes as far as collecting their earnest money, making sure their CD is corrected and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
as well.
there's kind of timelines on everything in a real estate deal, especially like when you're collecting their earnest money. A lot of people don't know that has to be deposited into our escrow account within 72 hours.
Right.
So that is your job as a realtor to keep up with, because the average Tom, Dick, Jerry, whoever ain't gonna know that.
No. How would you?
Right, exactly. So that's why it is the added benefit of a realtor that keeps up with all that stuff, you know? So.
And I agree. And as far as, like he said, so the earnest money's got to be handled. And then, you know, those timelines of the contract got to be accounted for. So, you know, if you got a 5-day timeline to get those inspections done and then a 2-day repair request, so you better have those inspections done within 5 days. And then if you want a repair request done, you better submit that within 2 days after that 5 days or whenever that final inspection is taken care of. So you might have 7 days to get it done, but a lot of agents are like, oh, I'll wait till the 6th day to start my inspection. No, you need to get those done within the first 5 days. You know, that's why we write those in the contract. It's not just, you know, for fun. You know, that's the actual law-abiding contract.
Real estate deals are very like this date.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you're shopping for a realtor, make sure that you know that you have somebody that is consciously aware of those, and I can assure you these boys, anybody in this office, are aware of those dates. You know, so
we're gonna make sure you're taken care of. And as far as the closing disclosure goes, you want to make sure that those final numbers, you know, they're signing off on those numbers at the closing table, and they're either paying those costs or getting those proceeds. And if, you know, there might be a $60 discrepancy, but you want to make sure that's taken care of on your client's behalf, because
$60 is a lot of money.
I mean, yeah.
I'm
gonna question it. If I can get $60 more, why not?
I love $60.
And that's why, like, when I get those closing disclosures, I send that to my buyer or seller, and you know, tell them if they, you know, want me to read over it with them. Just let me know, and I'll give them a call, and I'll go over each item with them and kind of explain, you know, where this money's going, because that can be a concern for, you know, some of these clients.
And then, so kind of to throw back a little bit back onto the topic. So, as realtors, what I think makes us stand out, that we're actually professionals and not just people that are writing these contracts and showing these houses for you, strangers, you know, breaking into your house, basically. We go through that 96 hours pre-license course, and then we go through a 48 hours post-license course, and then each year we have continuing education of up to 6 to 12 hours after that first 2 years. And, you know, that's a lot of time on the computer, believe it or not. I mean, as a college student, you're going to get 12 credit hours, you know, per semester, I think. So, you know, we're doing that same thing every year with real estate as well.
Right, yeah. It keeps you in the loop, which, you know, it's one of the regulations we have to abide by. But really, it's a benefit to you as a client and to us as realtors, because we have to kind of stay on top of the newest stuff. And that's what it does. It kind of keeps us in the loop on everything. And, you know, as much as I don't like doing the course, I think it's definitely a benefit, and I'm glad that it's there.
Yeah, Tyler do it on the same day every year. We're like, let's take this together.
I like to wait until literally the last second.
I'm the same way.
We do. And we work 24/7, 365. So
right.
That's another way to fulfill your fiduciary duties, is make sure your clients are taken care of. You know,
and they will be over here.
We've all shown houses on holidays. You know, we don't discriminate at all. You know, we're going to take care of you the best we can. So,
which, you know, this kind of boils down to actually kind of last week's episode, but making the right decision. And, you know, I feel like here at Cedar Hill, we have a really good team. And I think that's an important part of what you need when you're searching for a realtor is, you know, obviously you want the realtor to be solid themselves and be able.
Because we have so much technology.
Right, because we have so much
Right,
technology. But you want the real estate agent to be, you know, obviously solid themselves, a hard worker, someone who really cares about what they're doing. But more importantly is the team around them, because, you know, certain scenarios can come up where your specific realtor might need help with, and having a good team around that realtor, even if it's in the same company, or just good lenders, good title, you know, good resources, and knowing good people, the sphere of influence that you have.
And I think too, what makes us stand out from other brokerages too would be just like, you know, I really want you to buy a house because you want to buy a house.
Yeah,
right.
We don't pressure them into it. We don't care your timeline. 2 months, 2 years, we don't care.
I'm waiting to find you the house. That's what I'm here to do.
Right.
As a realtor, that's how you should.
Which you just listed a property, I think, this week where you've been working with him for years.
I
you know,
have.
Gave him CMAs years ago.
We're gonna sell that house. We're gonna sell that land one day.
Yeah,
and we'll get there.
And that's where he's taking his drone photography.
Did.
How much technology went into that specific deal? What all technology did you use? You know, your phone, your laptop, your drone. The MLS. What all did you use?
I think you pretty much covered every single base there.
And probably more,
and
obviously.
The drone too. Wherever the drone is,
obviously
I use
more.
That.
So there's probably about 10 different types of technology that we use every single day. You know,
Easily.
this is what we're trying to take away from this episode is that, you know, we're not trying to scare you when we bring this drone to your house. We're not trying to scare you when we're taking photos of your home. Like, this is to make it sell the best it can, to bring buyers, to make them more, you know, make it more
I ain't gonna
desirable.
lie. If I were to list my grandparents' house or anything like that, and I wanted to take this drone down to his house,
They'd freak out.
do you know what he would say to me?
Oh, he'd shoot it out of the
Did
sky.
you know what he would say
He'd
to
shoot it
me?
out of the sky.
My grandpa would be like, hell no. No, that you've got the government in there, you've got everybody else, you know. So, but that's the added layer of having the realtor that can make you comfortable, you know, with this is just what today's time
Yeah,
is.
today's times
Right.
are changing, and get with them.
And I feel like it boils down to, you know, how well that process is explained because, you know, buying a house, it is one of your biggest investments of your life. There is a lot to it, but it's actually, you know, a lot simpler than you think. You know, once you know, if you talk to a good realtor like me or Jalen, you know, we're really going to
Tyler.
break it down, answer your questions so that there's no, you know, questions about it really, or like doubts about it. It's very simple process, you know, from start to finish. There's definitely a lot to it. But if you have a professional, you know, realtor that's going to break it down for you, it should, you know, turn it from stressful and difficult to, you know, easy to understand and simple. And I
Yeah.
think that's a big,
And those good agents, like he said, sorry to cut you off, I think should have that good team, have that good sphere, have the good, you know, investors in their corner to give
Marketing.
you on and off market deals. And I think another thing that stands out is a lot of agents will be like, yeah, I'll show you in a couple days or whatever. Like,
No.
there should be no more than a 24-hour turnaround to show because most
Oh, I'll show
homes.
you in
Right.
5 minutes if I can.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
I can show you in
exactly.
5
You
minutes,
know,
one of these people
and that
can.
kind of comes back
Exactly.
to a good team. So like, yeah, I will tell like a buyer who's trying to schedule a listing if you know, maybe I have a different appointment or I literally have to be somewhere. If they absolutely need to see it at that time, you know, we have a good team around us that one of us will be able to show it, and you know, we'll work that out amongst ourselves. But you know, you're gonna be able to see that house at the time that you want. You know, 9 times out of 10, you know, even if us as the realtor can't be there,
Yep.
we're going to make sure that that's facilitated, and then from that point we're going to take over and make sure all your questions are answered and you're taken care of. And I think that's very important for people when they're deciding on, you know, what realtor to use, because to me, you know, it boils down to communication and timelines. So
For sure.
everybody's busy. You know, most people have a job, so especially if you're buying a house. So if you have a certain schedule, or if you have kids and you're not going to be able to attend a showing at a certain time, so you have a small window that you need to see a property in. If you know, if I can't make it personally as your realtor, I'm going to make sure someone can. You know, especially with houses turning around so quick on the market these days.
There's no
Sometimes
time to say no.
sometimes it's important for you to see it today and not tomorrow. So, you know, me and Jalen make sure that's facilitated with, you know, the other members of our team who might be free. We'll make sure that they can open that door for you.
No, I agree. And do you guys have anything else that you want to kind of talk about on today's subject? Or are you good to kind of go into today's giveaway?
Ooh, yeah.
Should
We
we
wanna
go
get
on
into
today's giveaway?
So, Josh, would you pull up who?
Yeah, let's pull up the
who's
live
commented?
stream.
No one commented on YouTube, so
Ty, can you write these names down for me? Do we have a pen?
I got a pin right
Well,
here.
you know what? I got a phone.
He's got
Or
a
a
phone.
phone.
Hey, go
Pen
to
or-
what's
pen or
that
phone?
one
I sure do got a
website?
phone.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
The one website
Yes.
where they
I
do
got
all
you.
the things. I don't know what the hell it's called.
I got you.
Oh,
But
like
you do
the-
raffles
the
or
automatic-
waffles, whatever the heck Facebook does off of them.
So we're gonna do a
And
automatic.
we'll show it.
Yeah, we'll show it. We'll
live.
put it on camera.
Yeah, Ty's got us.
Yeah, there we go.
That's why everyone likes Ty on the show. The last time he was on, it's like we want
All
to
right,
see
let
the
me-
big man talk. But come on,
And look where he is.
he's
So-
back on here. we love having him on. We do appreciate you coming on the show again, Ty.
I'm so glad to be here, y'all.
And
I love coming to talk
hey,
to y'all. Y'all are my
I
favorite
feel
boys in
like
the
you
whole
need
world.
to come on a little
audience
more
loves
often.
Ty.
Yeah, yeah.
Our
The audience loves
Ty.
Ty.
Yeah, I think that maybe I'm just like a permanent guest.
Good
Permanent
luck.
guest.
Permanent guest.
Charm, yeah, one of
It
the
might
two.
have to happen.
There you go.
You should. If this video reaches over 1,000 likes, Tyler's gonna.
Over a
fucking-
If
1,000.
it-
Come on, y'all.
No,
Yeah,
I meant
if it-
1,000 views.
Okay, 1,000 views.
Sorry, but it should reach that. I mean,
to-
we have a heck of a guest on here with us. If it doesn't reach that, But in the meantime, while they are getting this sorted, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, watching tonight, for sharing our post for this giveaway, for liking, subscribing, whatever you've done for us. We do appreciate it. Our weekly ad sponsors, our title sponsors, all of you guys are much appreciated.
There we go.
And you help us build this every week. We like to talk about every week what we add to the podcast. And last week we added a new mic stands. This week we added new headphones as well as a couple new lights as well. Again, shout out to Custom Creations with Kirk Claycomb. Mm-hmm. And we want to thank Marty with Claycomb Investments. Give them a shout out if you want to buy or sell any real estate. And we'd be happy to have you on as guest too if you want to reach out to our podcast messenger as well as the email link below.
So right now we're entering in all the names. We got Brian, Jesse, Scott,
Renee,
and Renee.
That's it.
That's the 4.
There's only 4?
We had a lot of people, a lot more share the post, but not comment.
So
and
y'all
you're not going to be entered. So
we put it in the post. You're supposed to.
All right. So let me make sure that that's the only.
You got 25% chance, guys.
Let me make sure that's.
Check YouTube too. Just
yeah.
to make
Let
sure.
me double check.
Oh, I see YouTube. There's nothing.
Okay.
So y'all suck.
All right. So it's between Brian, Jesse, Scott, and Renee. Good luck.
Good luck. Let's see it.
I don't know if anybody can see this.
Oh, it's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning. There we go. We got a winner. Who is that? Who's that in yellow?
Jesse.
Jesse.
You
Oh,
won.
Jesse.
Congratulations.
Come on, Jesse.
Jessica. Jessica who?
Jessica Pike.
Oh, Jesse Pike. That's your sister.
Sister-in-law.
Congrats, Jesse. No, congrats. You got
Hey.
a $25 gift card coming your way. You can probably get it from Josh since you'll probably see him
Yeah,
before you
I'll see you
us.
later.
But thank you for tuning in. We want to thank the rest of our viewers. And Josh, before we sign off, do you want to go ahead and give a special thanks to our sponsors?
Yeah, put them up on the screen, Jay.
Okay.
Let's
And I
see
want to
that.
thank you boys for having me on again. I have so much fun every time I come on this podcast. So let's do it again.
We love having
Let's
you
do
on.
it again.
No, yeah, let's definitely do it again. And actually,
Great episode.
I don't know if we actually spoke about it, but before we do go over our sponsors, I want to talk about the month of February. It's a busy month for us. So we got my birthday today, obviously, as we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. But we got my son's birthday next week, as well as my wife's birthday the week after that. And then mix in an anniversary as well as Valentine's Day and all there. It's a pretty busy
old
month.
of
So,
February.
for the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to be going on a tentative schedule. So we're going to be coming live to you on Thursday at 5 instead of Friday, just so I can spend time with my family, when it's most important. But we're still going to be bringing you that good information. And whenever March comes around, we'll be tuning back in and bringing you that Friday at 5 podcast live.
Yeah, we'll be live either way, but moving on to our title sponsors, and thank you guys for watching, but shout out to Collier Title. If you need deed prep, title work, closings, and much more, they're located in Brandenburg, E-Town, and Louisville, and you can give them a call at 270-763-6589. And then I want to give a big shout out to Supreme Lending, Chad Gooden and Garrett Greenwell. Give them a call if you're looking to get approved for a home loan or if you have any questions on home loans. They do FHA, VA, and conventional loans. And then big shout out to our weekly sponsor, Brandenburg Mini Storage, and they're located at 49 Shannon Lane. And they offer storage units at an affordable price. You can give them a call at 270-422-5121.
And thank you guys for tuning on to the Property Panel Podcast. We want to thank our guest, Tyler Carter, as well as our sponsors, like Josh had mentioned. Go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. Go ahead, give us a share if you don't mind.
Happy birthday, Jay.
Yep, thank you, and we'll see you next week at Thursday at 5.